What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another Her Lounge podcast. We are still Zooming, but I told Rob that next month in August, I am ready to go back to the studio, and we're only sitting there for 2 hours, and then I'm bouncing. But you know what I'm saying? I'm excited, and I'm ready to go back to my studio. So it isn't always just show my husband's activities all the time. Before we get started, guys, you guys know I like to start with a positive quote. Little by little, day by day, what is meant for you will find its way. And was that not perfect for the amazing news you gave me this morning?
Yeah, you just got to keep the faith.
How weird that happened. And that's the quote that I had for today, bro.
That's good. Yeah. It's true. And some people, even myself included, when people say that, you have like this bit of like, I don't know if it's, you just don't want to believe. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, let's look at those, this, and, you keep this, wait,
Yeah.
patience, this and that. And then when it does happen, you're like, oh, I should be more patient. Things will work out. Like, let me keep the
Yeah.
mind right. It's
Yeah.
hard. We just had a whole podcast before the podcast, keeping your mind right.
Exactly. I just, I'm still healing, y'all. If you're wondering, I am.
On a 1 to 10, like where do you think you are right now, just feeling wise?
I'm about a 7. I'm better.
Okay.
But the minute I start doing too much, I
Yeah.
start getting the pain, and that's when I know I got to go sit down and I got to go take some pain medicine. And I don't take the regular pain medicine. I take Advil because the other one would make me, the real pain medication makes me sleepy, and I hate napping throughout the day. So, actually, that's one thing that Dr. Tran said. Are you enjoying your naps? I'm like, no, I don't nap. She's like, you don't nap? I'm like, no, why would I nap, bro? No way. I'm like, I won't sleep at night. And that's another issue I was having. I was like not being able to sleep at night. I wake up at 3:45 every morning. I thought to myself, oh yeah, this new schedule would be great, body, if I could go work out. Because I mean, who doesn't want to get up at 4, go to the gym, attack your day? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for it. And I was just like, no, bro, I can't even go do anything. Why are we waking up at this time? It's pointless. And then I was getting on social media, like really more Pinterest, not social media, but it is a form of social media, but on Pinterest, just looking at, Penny Sunny's birthday's coming up. We're gonna do Baby Shark. I was like, let me see what home ideas I can do, like, ideas for the birthday party. And, so I'm sitting there trying to think of what to do. And then I'll get sleepy. So I'll go back to sleep. And then I get up at 7 again, 7:30. And then it's just like, okay, well, that was a nice little nap, 3 hours that I took again. I was having restless leg syndrome. And my mom came over yesterday and she was telling me, oh yeah, I was having that. She goes, it's lack of magnesium. She's like, that's what my doctor told me. But I had not started my supplements again. I haven't been taking my vitamins or anything because I just didn't know what it would do with medication and so forth. And so, and even if it does anything, I'm not really sure if it does. So if there's anybody, a nurse out there listening, anything like, what an idiot. Sorry, I'm not a nurse. So I just didn't know what it would do. But I think I am going to start because I took my zinc and magnesium last night. I slept. Didn't get up at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why ZMA is a good supplement to include.
Yeah. So I slept through everything. I didn't have a problem. I didn't get up at 3:45, ready to start the day. It was great. So I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to take my, all my vitamins that I take in the morning. It looks like I'm ready to go. But yeah, I was like pretty bad. Like I was just like, I didn't know what was happening. I even told her, I said, I have insomnia and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And so she was like, well, you have your uterus. You have your ovaries. So it's not like, I guess when you get your ovaries taken out, your hormones even get even more whacked. So that's part of, I guess that's a symptom that happens. So she's like, you still have your ovaries. She's like, so I'm not really sure what that is. And she was like, probably just your active mind because you're not able to physically move. So I'm like, that makes sense, So
You know,
Yeah, that's where we're at, listeners.
sometimes I forget that the podcast is like probably 99, 95 to 99% women. And you got a couple of guys obviously out there that listen and tune in regularly. But what do you think for the other ladies out there that might be going through something similar where they're kind of having to have some downtime? They're kind of trying to have to rein in how active they are and how on the grind they are. And they're just kind of more chill. They can only do so many things. Have you improved? Have you like particularly tried to improve any aspect of like the stir craziness that is like your regular day-to-day life?
Well, I figured out that there's a way to do everything without being busy. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And so it's just a matter of like, because this is what I was thinking. I was like, why am I always busy and have something to do? But yet I've been sitting here and I haven't had anything to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Except like what I was telling you before, like I'm my laundry is not piled up, and on Sunday I'm mad because I didn't do it throughout the week, and I have this whole week's worth of, laundry. Penny's getting like some homeschooling activity done during the day, granted, it is nice. I know I have help, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I do have Lisa who helps me throughout the day. So I am able to relax, but I'm also able to do so much more research about like things that I want to do without like it being interrupted, but by all the other chaos happening around me. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else around me has had to figure it out without me being present. It's like, well, wait, well, I don't have to worry about everything else. Like, let y'all figured it out just fine without me.
Yeah.
So looks like when I'm good to go, y'all are finna figure it out on y'all's own because y'all seem to do just fine without it. You know what I'm saying? Without me, baby.
Dude,
Are y'all me?
I wasn't expecting you to say that for some reason, but because of the podcasts that we tend to have before the podcast. But that's actually a really good like topic of conversation, I think, in general. And that is that knowing, and we talked about delegating a lot in the past, but knowing that like other people can figure stuff out without you, right? Like we all want to think that no one's gonna do it like me. It's got to be done
Yeah,
like me, or it's not gonna get done right. And then when you have no choice but to stay out of it because you literally can't move, you're
yeah,
immobile from a surgery or whatever else,
yeah,
you find out that like, oh no, it kind of ran just fine without me always having
yeah.
to be in the mix.
Now, are the other people complaining or making comments? Of course. And I'm
Probably.
just like, I don't care. Um, it's just little stuff that I'm frustrated about, just like not being able to lift certain things, like
Yeah.
I want to organize the girls' rooms, right? Like because to get Penny ready for school and all that. But I really can't lift anything, move shit around. So little things that I feel like I could be doing right now that I haven't been able to do because I'm still not able to lift anything. I do wish that I was able to do that because I could be productive at my house because there's so much unorganized like activity in my home
Mhm.
because I don't have time for it. Does that make sense? But right now I have time for it. So like I am going to clean out their closet because there's winter clothes still hanging up there.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of I feel like I've just like I tell whoever needs to do whatever they need to do and it gets done, and sometimes it's not done correctly, and surprisingly I'm not like all bent out of shape about it. I'm just like, well, this is how it's going to get done because you're not able to do it. So, but it got done, so deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
it is what it is. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, which is not my personality whatsoever, which is, I guess this thing has its little pros and cons of
Yeah.
having surgery. You know what I'm saying? But I was going to tell you, so are you a Takashi 69 fan?
Actually, yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got some
So,
bangers. I mean, maybe not
yeah,
so much the person, but like I can appreciate what he did.
like I actually like him as a person. like he's very interesting. And this is me, my psychologist, right? I'm the
Yeah.
psychologist here. And
Armchair
I feel like he
experts.
has like a lot he has to prove all the time. And I saw an interview of him and like the struggles that he had as a kid with his single mom and
Mm.
the brother and him and the kind of regular jobs he had um and little stuff like that, you know. And it's crazy because he's dating some other girl. Pete thought he was just that girl was just a thought, a thought, but I saw that she has a song. Anyway, that bitch he gifted her, I think, like a Rolls Royce, Rolls Royce,
Who?
Royce,
Who? Prince Roy?
Roy,
Again?
yeah, Prince Royce, him too, uh, him too. He had her on the song. SUV,
A Rolls Royce.
a Rolls Royce
Yeah.
SUV.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then right out of surgery, at her getting her BBL or whatever it was,
Yeah.
he comes and brings her 20 grand just for fun, and she's all
He's
like
talking
this.
Tekashi still?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's all like this. She's in the hospital bed. She's got like drool from where she still has the anesthesia. She's like this, all like that. And she's like, and she can't even smile. She's fresh out of surgery. They come down, they land, they're on a plane, they land. He has the car there with for her. And it's all like she's all like wearing a crop top when you can see her surgery faja underneath. Oh my God. And then um okay, so that was a 21 grand at the hospital, then the new car, then he got her this deal with this vaping company, this $1 million deal with the vaping company. And the owner had like a G-Wagon that was like super custom. It had like that Tiffany blue inside like seats. And so she was like, oh my God, I love this vehicle. And then the owner, I guess, said like, well, if she likes it, she can take it. And so Takashi's all like, well, look what she got now, you know, little spoiled brat kind of thing, you know? And I was like, what does her vagina do?
Got that magical punani.
She must have like a magical punani, because how the F do you just like get this guy to get you all these things? And it just got me going down that lane of I knew and had acquaintances, not really so much my friends, but I had acquaintances that they knew when like basketball players were in town and they were out buying their outfits, they were out like getting ready, and they knew where they were going like needed to be because they knew basketball players were going to go to that after party and so forth. The funny thing is you would think like, oh, why didn't I jump on that bandwagon, right? Like the thought of I feel like that's kind of a little bit prostitutish-y.
Product.
Like
Okay. Prostitution.
you know,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like a little escort type situation, you know, like no,
No, I
like
agree.
I mean,
I agree.
you're kind of getting ready to see who you're gonna go home with in hopes that I'm not saying necessarily they wanted to get pregnant, but probably that was the key because now you're gonna have to get child support from this rich man, right? Or person. And you know, it never seemed like fun to me. Like it was never like that seemed like way too much work for me. Like it was never like also, bro, just because you got a name, I don't necessarily want to have to sleep with you to get like I maybe because I had a job. I mean, they had jobs too. Shit, I don't know. That's not a good example. I don't know. Like it wasn't like I wasn't I just maybe I just have never been that way. Like I've never been one to like obviously I need you to have a job. Obviously I need you to
Yeah.
have like something going for you. Like I'm not going to go date a loser or anything like that. But it's amazing to me how there's women out there, and she made me think of that girl that he's dating, Yaelin or whatever her name is, you
Mhm.
know? She's also had a baby from another reggaeton person. And so it's really weird. I don't know. I don't know really the whole drama about it. It was her getting all these things and all these gifts and Birkin bags. And I mean, we're talking about like $30,000 bags that are like very exclusive that he was buying for her, you know? And I'm like, wow, her pee must be pink and her booty hole must be brown. You
So,
know what song I'm talking
so
about.
well said, Soul. So well said.
I mean, damn, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how is she just like, but it's funny, like you like I'm looking at it and I'm saying, damn, like how is this all happening, right? But I'm also don't want to be that person. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be
Totally.
that person. Like I don't want to, that's like a lot of keeping up. It's like a lot of work. I don't want to have to continuously have surgeries to keep up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to continuously have to have the latest look on my face, you know what I'm saying, to keep up, or you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't want to. That's a lot of work, and I just don't have the energy for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't even have the energy like in my younger days. You see what I'm saying? Like I've always taken care of myself. I always had my own apartment. I always had my own car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't mind gifts here and there, but just because I guess I always felt like this. It ain't my birthday. It's not Christmas. It's not Valentine's Day. It's not an anniversary. Like I don't want to have to do all, I don't have to do so much extra. You know what I'm saying? Like just cuz, you know? And I'm not saying she's doing extra. She may not be doing anything. Her stuff may just be pink and her booty hole may just be brown. And may she just has it popping, you know? I mean that may just be what it is, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's so many, and I'm telling you, because I was, like I said, I was acquaintance with a lot of these women, and I would meet them because when I was younger, my aunt's best friend, who is part of the she's a patrona,
Oh.
um her ex-husband owned a lot of nightclubs because he was big on the radio, and so I would do that as like a side hustle. I would go help work his club, and so you know what I'm saying. So you meet a lot of people. You meet artists that come through. You know what I'm saying. You meet a lot of that, and so that's why I was saying like opportunity totally have been there, but totally have never been like something that I was into. Like I don't know why, you know. And I would see them just ready. It's just like, oh, got to go get the new outfit, get the new this and everything. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, you see how much work you had to do? Like, does that, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense here, but maybe like to them it makes total sense. I'm sure, you know, because it's
Let,
like,
let,
yeah,
let me ask,
bitch.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. From the beginning of this conversation, I was just thinking the whole time, like, the argument that like you said prostitution-ish, but like prostitution or escorts or whatever, it's
Mhm.
illegal, right? Like, but how is that any different than, you know, courting a woman and then taking her out on a lovely, date and then paying for everything and ended up spending hundreds of dollars? Like,
It's
what's
my
the difference?
husband, bro.
No, no, no.
I mean,
Before, no,
together.
no, no, no. Not, I'm saying like when you're dating, like when you're trying to find somebody, if you're just like single and you're
Oh,
trying to find somebody and you're like, you know what, instead of going out there and just picking someone up, like, why can't I just go pay for what I want? Because I'm still going to spend the same amount of money.
yeah, no, it's not the same. We're talking. Your intention here is in hopes that maybe we'll start a relationship together, right?
Who
Or
maybe
that's
your hope, maybe, but I'm saying for guys, it's not typically the hope.
yeah. I probably wouldn't date anybody who was just trying to get in my pants. I mean, trust me, if women don't see it in the beginning, you're dumb. You're dumb. Real dumb.
Well, there's a lot of real dumb ones out there.
You're real dumb. Like, I mean, you could sniff it. You smell it when someone is like the aroma immediately comes to you as a woman, and you're like, oh,
You think that, but a lot of women aren't that keen to it.
really? I mean, gosh, I mean, it's so obvious. You don't really need, I mean, if they don't call you back after the first date because they didn't get no booty, they probably are not going to call you for the second date, boo boo, because I mean, it's like, I mean, I know for me, that was partially my problem. I've said this before on the podcast, was when I was in my partying days, I really wasn't into like having long-term relationships. Now, when I would see other people like have them, I'd be like, I honestly used to say, I can't wait until I have that one person that I can like party with. When I was dating, that's why I said, like, I knew what was up. Like, yeah, come on, bro. You and I both know this is not nothing. Bye. You know what I'm saying? So, like for me, when I started to like, okay, I want a boyfriend. Like I would like to date someone. It was more like, yeah, I knew immediately if this is going to work or not going to work.
Mm.
But again, it's like, I think it's on a per woman basis. You know what I'm saying? Like some bitches just, I guess, like you said, don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just not, which I guess that makes sense because, you have these women who like will date, or the ones that can't be without someone, like they can't be without a
Super
partner.
codependent. Yeah.
Oh,
I know some people who are super codependent of others
damn.
and each other. And dude, it is the weirdest thing. Like they have no form of independence. Like when it comes to activities or interest or even like dreams or desires, like they have to be at each other's, like attached at the hip, or they feel like they're completely lost, like just like a stray animal, like, or a stray cat, you know?
And I feel that's like maybe, like Marissa says, childhood trauma, like somewhere, like
Yeah.
maybe they didn't have a dad present, or they didn't have a mom present. So they find that in each other. I don't really know. I'm not a legit psychologist, y'all. I
No,
used
we're
to be
just,
making up shit.
yeah, we're, we're armchair
You know,
experts.
we're just podcasters, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really don't know. I mean, you should know. I don't know.
That's the
Kind of,
quote. That's the title of the podcast. You should know.
you should know. I mean, really, like you should know. I feel like God made us with these little like females, not males in general, but females, like with, man, Rob, I never really thought about this, but just think about anybody that you dated in your past, not trying to bring up your past or my past or anything
Do it.
up like that, disrespectful to our spouses, right?
Sure.
But if you think about it, in your past, for some reason, you would see a little sign of like, I don't really like that, but maybe it was just this one instance that it happened. So I'm gonna let it slide,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it's like then it doesn't happen again for a long time, and then it happens again. You're like, when did that happen? What was the situation again, and why? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what's now it's like that's what, like, you kind of question it, and then it's like it continues to happen, and you saw it from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason you keep going through the motion of dating, and you keep going. Now you end up marrying this person, right, who you kind of already knew was having a little bit of like some issues there. You just couldn't figure it out because, oh my God, all the other stuff outweighs that one little situation. You know what I'm saying? And then you're married, and then it doesn't work out because that one situation, that one sign that you had a long time ago when you were boyfriend and girlfriend, you just kind of like brushed it under the rug, and you just thought it was just like, no big deal. It was like, oh, he'll get over it, or I can help him work on that, type of thing. But I think like we all at some point like kind of figure out what we're willing to put up with and what we're not willing to put up with. You know what I'm saying? We all know if this person's going to be a good provider for women, right? And I think for men too, like you think about like, I would hope, I don't think most men do, but I would hope men think about, is this the person I want to like have a child with ever in my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this the person I want to have like raise my children? That's the person. I don't know. I would hope that that's kind of like what you think whenever you date someone. if you're not into kids, I don't know what it is, but for me, because when it wasn't about kids, right? To me was I want a partner who we're going to grow together and we're going to want to build like a business together and businesses together. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing. Was like I want to find someone who is just a serial entrepreneur the same way that I am. You know what I'm saying? Which I totally found him, you know? Um, but that was like kind of what I would want, right? But I feel like sometimes like when people say I didn't see it coming, it's a very like small slim chance that you didn't. There's very few scenarios that you really don't see it coming. I think there's bigger and obvious bad things about someone, but I don't know why as humans, not so because I can't say women because men do it too. Because you start to think like, why is he with her? You know, kind of thing. You know, if she does all this, or you know, she does all that. You know, I don't know why we're wired that way. I was thinking that's what I've been thinking about. Like I've been watching the Takashi 6ix9ine because I was on the social media and I was like, isn't that weird? How there's just women out there who are going to look for that person that's going to financially take care of them forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that, and then I started thinking about like these girls that I knew, you know what I'm saying, that I was cool with, and how they would prepare, like, you know, when they knew, and I was just kind of like thinking that whole little cycle of life, right? Because right now we're in such a big, like separation of family, like it's not, you know, like the nuclear family is like trying to like they're trying to do away with, right?
Yeah.
Right now we're in the era of we're accepting just men to be women, you know what I'm saying? And vice versa. You know, we're such a weird time, right? That if you think about it now, I don't know where all those girls that would dress up to get these men are anymore, because now we're so focused on no, bitch, independent. You're an independent woman. You don't need a man, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, where are y'all? I haven't seen y'all in a while. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are getting trips paid for and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, bags paid for. I mean, when I saw her, I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute since I've seen, but she does have her own career. Although Pete didn't know that she was a singer. Maybe she just started singing. I don't know, but she does have her own little career going. But still, I mean, she's got her own money and she's, you know, still getting $21,000 out of fresh out of her BBL. You know what I'm saying? And she just like got drool. I said, why would anybody do that? She's on the like literally on the hospital bed, Rob.
Yeah.
He comes in with his filming crew and she's got like dried fucking like babas right there, and she's all with her little bonnet, her hair, you know, and she's all like, you know, can't even open her eyes. And he's like, look, mira lo que te traje. And he's like got a bag. He's like, uno. And they're like all counting out loud as he's stacking the wads of money, right, on her just recently, you know,
Stitched
worked on
together.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking about the other day. And I was just like, it's so, we're just weird people. We're humans. We're just weird.
All just
We're
across the board, man. And I can't get enough of
everything.
trying to figure out what those like what triggers that weirdness or how it evolves. Like, I don't know. Actually, I recommend people do this, you included. When's the last time you took something like the Myers-Briggs personality test? If ever?
Mm, yeah, I no.
Never? Oh, dude, you should definitely. I would recommend if you've never done it, you should do it for the first time for sure. If you've done it, you know, the last 10 years, do it again. I don't think I'd done mine since my early 20s, and I just did it again. I was reading a book on something persuasion, I think, and they were talking about the different personality types, and I took it again. It's like 5-6 minutes. And you know, you ever seen people that they're like, I'm a INFJ or a, ZG, whatever it is, right?
Mm,
There's different little letters that kind of describe your personality traits and whatnot. And mine changed significantly. And I'm always interested in finding out like what those things are. So you talking about like you know, going after like when you people that need somebody all the time, or people that are very
Mm,
codependent, or people that like all these different characteristics and personality traits, like they come from somewhere. Like they come
mhm,
from something that happened. Like I hate the word trauma. So I'm trying to not even say it anymore. Like it's so
mhm,
overused in today's political and like social
mhm,
climates. I'm like,
mhm.
whatever. It's just it is what it is. Like your
Or
past.
your
Like
upbringing, just,
yeah, whatever. Like it is what it is. When you said it earlier, like that is, I should get that. I don't have a tattoo, but I should get that tattooed on me because it is what it is. Like people
Yeah.
can change so many things that just are. You just can't, right? And
Mhm,
anyway, so I would suggest doing a personality test. Maybe see if you find something new about like how you answer those questions and how you feel like you've grown from your 20s, 30s, and now 40s.
mhm,
Just keep searching for those answers. Like it sounds kind of lame and boring, but when I hear those stories, like it fascinates me because you know they're just doing it for attention, right? They're doing it so that people like us, we talk about it and other people get interested. Like, what did she do? Like, is her Punani really magical? Like, why is he putting all this money on her? She just got like her 15th BBL and like people can't
mhm,
help but watch it. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're enthralled by this. Like the Kardashians, like my brother, my of all people, my brother sent me this post yesterday where it's like breaking down all of Kim's like 19, it's like 9 businesses, I think it was. And he was like, does she really
mhm.
have that many businesses? And I'm like, dude, you got to respect. He goes, you got to put some respect on her name. I was like, yeah, like she
Yeah,
put that one
yeah,
initial, like people forget that they got big based off her big old booty hole being up in the air.
yeah. Mhm,
And like they don't even remember, like they don't care. People forget
mhm,
things. Like they don't forget.
mhm.
So it's just interesting. And you'll also go through those phases, right? Where like you're young and you're like, just give me all the wild style lifestyle. And then you
Yeah,
get older and you're
yeah.
like, I want kids and I want to chill. I don't want to be in big crowds anymore.
I very true about the also. Um, I don't know what I saw the other day, but it was something about attention, and I was just like,
What, that attention's a new oil, probably?
I don't remember what it was about, but basically it was. I'm trying to think. Sorry, as I'm talking to you,
No, go ahead.
what the meme was about, because it was funny because you know, you don't think people are paying attention, right? But at the same time, they are, because I'll get random DMs saying, "Hey, I'm just checking on you. Hope you're okay." People I don't know,
Mhm.
right? I don't know, because I was somebody who was actively always posting on my personal page, right? And now it's like I post when I feel like there's something important I would like to share, or when there's anything that I care about, you know what I'm saying? I'll post it, and I'm not posting every day. And so I was thinking to myself, I'm like, um, and honestly, it just, I've been in a weird space with social media. So that's really why I haven't been posting. But the thing about the attention, it was like, bro, that is the fucking world we're living in. It's like we're living off of likes, comments, and shares.
Mhm.
That's what we're living on. What do we say? If you like this video, guys, give it a thumbs up, right?
Mhm.
And the only way that I can grow is if you tell a friend about my podcast. So make sure you share it with a friend, and don't forget to rate my podcast, guys, because the only way that I can be at the top of the podcast scene is if you rate, you know what I'm saying? That's where we're at. We're like at rating and sharing and liking, and you know what I'm saying? Where I mean, I don't really ever leave comments on anybody's stuff negatively. If anything, it's always like a positive thing, or somebody's birthday, happy birthday, but I rarely comment unless it's Dora the Explorer. I do harass her. I am guilty. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't like her. And so people just feel like they can be behind a little computer, a little desk, keyboard,
Mhm.
and just kind of make somebody else feel shitty. Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
And then the person who they left the shitty comment to, now is like, what the fuck? And now this person who you don't know, who's sitting behind a keyboard, has riled you up for the day, and you're so upset. And now you may feel like shit, or now you may feel like insecure about a situation. And you know what I'm saying? We don't even know what that person looks like. We
Yeah.
don't even know what that person does. We don't even know what that person is going through. We don't even know, like, what gave you the audacity to leave a comment like that on someone's page. Like, I don't know if sitting here has been a good thing or what, but it's just like these are things that I've been thinking about, and I just like, okay, well, stop thinking about it, because you're really not going to get back on social media if you start to, you know, the probably one thing I have loved most, and I'm not just saying that because these people are part of my Discord, but it has been that little bitty community of people that we created in the Discord.
Mhm.
And that's what I love that has come out of my podcast, because those are legit people. I mean, we share some, pretty intimate stuff about family and, things that we're going through. And, we're asking for, prayer. And, I have Just Tier, who runs a Bible study in our Discord, if that's not a blessing, I don't know what is. I have Don, who helps me, run the Discord, make sure that everybody gets their daily affirmation. You know what I'm saying? That they're up to date on whatever happening is happening in her world. Um, you just have a little bit of everything, right? So like, I can't say social media is all bad, because for me, that community of her world that we've created is probably my favorite thing. They check up on you, you know what I'm saying? Like, like they're like your family members would do, like, um, so it's interesting. It's interesting, like, just how the world is evolving and all the things that we're kind of going through, because as we start to pay attention, which I don't really know how this ended up turning political right now, but as we start to go into 2024 and you start to look at who's running, right? You start to kind of you start to think like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. So I kind of dig Vivek, however you pronounce his name. And my mom's like, he's 38 years old. He hasn't lived life. He doesn't even remotely a little bit know what, life. She goes, you're older than him. And I said, okay, not that much older, Mom. Like, okay, hold up here. So it's like, yeah, so he's your sister's age. And just think about how sometimes you'll even feel like your sister's making immature decisions, like when she was younger, right? So she's like, so what is this guy going to do for our country? He's too young. And I said, well, I told him about all his, like, companies, and, that, because he's an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and I said, that's kind of what Trump was, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I could, not at the beginning, obviously, because I fell for the racist, and, he called all of us rapists and all that propaganda. But, that's one of the things that I liked about him, was that he was approaching our country, I felt, more in as a business versus like the way all career politicians have viewed or have taken care of our country. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting that as we all kind of have, I wonder why this is happening, or who's pushing this agenda, and why is this blah, 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 right? It's like, okay, the same way you're kind of wondering and asking, I think that you should also ask that, because whoever takes place in 2024 is either going to put a stop to this mess, or they're just going to drive us into the hole, to where the world's going to get even crazier. It's going to get even like, sex is going to just be on Instagram pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you don't even need to go to pornhub.com to get you some porn. I mean, you can literally just probably start going to Instagram and you're going to find it. You know what I'm saying? I did not even know how, I don't know how birthing videos get like that thing that says, if you click on this picture, blah, 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 blah,
Sensitive
blah.
content. Yeah.
Yeah. A birthing video, like the midwives that I follow, they always get that on their videos that they post. And then you'll see a bitch with her like ass popping, you know what I'm saying, like at a strip club, like advertisement for a strip club, which I don't really know how that was on my little whatever, what is that page,
Explore
on
page?
Instagram, like the
Explore page?
explore page. There you go. I was like, what in the, I was like, okay, you see what I'm saying? I was like, why doesn't that have foggy little,
Sensitive
cover
content.
on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, a notification of you might not want to watch this kind of situation. I was like, oh my God. There was another one. It was like a video of like a very like, it was just a video of like basically breaking down like motherhood, but it was so emotional. They even put like one of those censorship things on it. And I was just like, if you want to click here, just beware. It's a very emotional video. And I was like, wait, pussy popping is not, you know what I'm saying, blocked, but you got videos of everything else, and those are blocked. And it's weird. Is it not weird? Like,
No,
it's just
it's
weird.
super
That's why
weird.
I said, like,
It's
that's why
super
I'm like
weird.
saying, huh?
No, it's super weird. But go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I'm just saying. So I feel like pretty soon Instagram is going to be you're going to be able to access whatever you want. TikTok as well. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the TikTok here lately because I'm just going to start. I've been posting like all my her apparel stuff on there. I was like, I don't use it for anything else. So let me go ahead and start advertising, because I like heard how easy it is for like people to like find you
Hmm.
on social media on there. And so I have been, which is crazy, which has brought followers to the page, but
Yeah.
it hasn't turned into the purchase yet. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? So, um,
Well, to piggyback off of that, what you just said, like about it hasn't turned, those viewers into purchasers yet. It's a business, right? And you're talking about like we have these, and you and I included, like, cause the social media, like feeling weird about social media, like you and I have said that
mhm,
phrase a lot over the last couple months, probably years, honestly. And I think we're losing sight that like it's not the MySpace Tom days where you're coding music on your background and you have like a top
mhm,
8 friends list and it's about
mhm,
like keeping in touch with your friends. It's really not that at all. Like it's about
no,
businesses, it's about personal brands, it's about
mhm,
connectivity with an audience, and then an audience ideally that wants an exchange of goods for or services for money. Like that's it. So like like you said, like, subscribe, share, all that stuff is no different than 20, 30 years ago when you would frequent an establishment and you would, write a testimonial for them and they would put it in their
mhm,
store so people could read
mhm,
it, or they'd run it in the newspaper or whatever, or reviews then later on Yelp and Google, and then now social. I mean, these are for the people listening too. If you have a business, like, and I myself am having to reframe how I see everything that happens online, because you're either getting
mhm,
attention because you're monetizing the eyes through advertising or some weird
mhm,
like partnership or brand deal, or you're gaining eyes because you want a direct connection with these people, like the ones in the
mhm,
Discord or the ones on your newsletter. And then eventually you're going to have some sort of exchange of like a product or service for them. Like that's
mhm,
it. Like that's all socials
mhm.
for.
Yeah, yeah. In a way, it is. It totally is.
Just one big billboard for you and what you do.
Yeah,
And either
yeah.
you sell a product like a hair apparel or a speech maybe that you might give, or you sell something else. Like you're selling something. Like your personal brand of whatever Marisol Herrera offers is what people come to see and keep up with, and then later hopefully buy. Other than that, that's the only purpose, honestly, in my opinion, that it serves. I understand people that want to like keep track of like you even say like I'm documenting my life. I want my kids to see it later. Like that's all great and dandy, but in now until then, we got to take advantage of what these stupid platforms allow us to do, and it is reach
For
people.
sure. And that's why I don't stop, because I know that because I know that it's not 1990, when you
Yeah.
would go and buy a piece of ad on the Houston Chronicle or La
Yellow
Subasta,
pages.
you know what I'm
Subasta.
saying? The yellow page, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I know that we're not in those times anymore. Like, I really, and I did, and I'm telling you, when I had that, consultation with Issa, and she said it's what you're consuming on social media that's making you have that kind of like love hate relationship with with social media, wanting to post. And when I went to go look, like I told you, like what I was following, it was nothing but politics. It was nothing but like what's going on in the world today. And it was like when before, it was a lot of business pages.
Hmm.
Excuse me. It was a lot of like how to do this. It was a lot of like real estate, like how to invest in real estate pages that I would like, understanding that and understand. So it's funny. And obviously celebrities, but yeah, I have to go. I have to, like, now recently, because I have been on there like looking up like how to grow your boutique on YouTube. Like I've been looking at a lot of stuff like that. There's a girl that I found, Rob, speaking of, see, this is why. When I get on the HERR Apparel account, it's funny. On there, it's nothing but businesses. It's what's funny. And all the reels that it feeds to me are nothing but businesses. So a lot of times I just stay on the HERR Apparel one, and I just like go on there because that's where I get a lot of my ideas. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting my ideas of like, oh, this is what I should do. So I came across this young girl who is 24 years old. Okay. And she's taking you through her day as a boutique owner, right? And she has everything set up. And I mean, we don't know what it's like out, we don't know, like she makes it look easy in the reel, obviously, because she has to condense whatever she's trying to, get across or whatever. But, and you and I both know what all it takes to do a lot of these e-commerce stores, but she like talks about like today is Tuesday. On Tuesdays, I like to take you guys through my content day. And so she's doing it all like in really fast mode, but she's telling them everything that she's going to go do. And then she says, this is the thing that I was like, oh my God, because you have to remember, I came from making t-shirts. Okay. I came from making things, right? With the exception of my accessories, which I don't feel count, but I was not buying fashion before. I was making it. Does that make sense? And I was making t-shirts or shorts or hoodies or units, jackets. You see what I'm saying? So I was finding designs to print on these blanks. She said, I'm making my list for my fall stuff, right? Like she goes, because I buy 6 months in advance for her next season. I said, what the fuck? 6 months in advance? I do it like 2 months before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, so then I went down the rabbit hole of following her, and she's got it broken down to the T. Like even from like how she packages and prepares and sends off, you know what I'm saying? Even to that, she's got a system, which we've always talked about, how you have to have systems in place to be able to, run anything. And I was very amazed at how she was 24 years old. She knew exactly what she was doing, right? And what she wanted. She had done her little research, which I'm sure with trial and error, she figured out this was the best way. But obviously sometimes all of us, we don't do a good job of telling you all the difficulties. That's why sometimes I feel like Sheila's story with Wonderland Play, whenever she was on the podcast, I feel the reason so many people were like, holy shit, she was such a motivating story, was because she told you the process of her story of when she was working for corporate America and how she never let that job go. But then slowly she was able to let it go. Then her husband was able to quit his job. She was able to now start paying her mom as well to take care of her children. You see what I'm saying? Like, so when someone takes you through that journey, you tend to kind of have a connection or start to feel like, damn, that is amazing. I would like to be able to do that one day, right? Which I feel like some people are really good at on social media at giving you that connection to where you're like, fuck, that person has a badass story. And then you have those who just all they're doing is kind of bragging about all the shit that they do, which are the ones that I cannot follow and cannot get behind. And while a lot of people are like, well, yeah, that's the type of stuff that motivates me, I'm not motivated by material things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's not, I'm not motivated by that. So I feel like that's probably why a lot of times those types of posts annoy the fuck out of me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, you're giving people like false hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even tell them, like, maybe just like how 3 months ago, I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but I'm just saying, like, you didn't tell anybody that 3 months ago you didn't know how you were going to pay the lights in your business, right? But then this big deal came or whatever happened, and now, like, the lights are back on your business. You know what I'm saying? You have way more than that. You were able to buy that. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah.
you didn't tell anybody that part of your business. You know, you're just showing off this and this and this and that, which I just can't. I'm not that person. I'm not that person to brag about it. Real quick, I will be speaking this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure how you pronounce their last name, but I'm just going to pronounce it how it's spelled. But they're 4 girls. They're all sisters. Their last name is Pompa.
Okay.
And so the Pompa sisters is what they go by. They're having this networking event, and I will be speaking at that event. And it's funny because I had asked her, like, what was her theme? And she said, really, there is no theme. She goes, we're just kind of having a networking event. And so while I was like kind of thinking about what I would speak about, right? I was like, my mom's like, oh, well, you're so good at like being motivating. She's like, why don't you do that? I'm like, I think we can all do that. You can find anybody to motivate you, right? But I think if I kind of help and open up the bigger picture and kind of explain to people, like, don't be so easily like, it doesn't, there's some people, Rob, who start a business and have never, like, they were just geniuses from the jump, right? And they figured it out, and they may have a problems here or there because their machine broke down. Like, those are the kind of problems they're dealing with, right? But then you have those that didn't go through that little easy journey. They didn't come up with the, $1 million idea immediately, but that later on they did. You see what I'm saying? So I kind of like feel like I feel like I'm gonna focus more on journey versus here's your motivation for the weekend.
It's
You know
so
what I'm
funny
saying?
that you said that, man, because the whole time I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say next, and I'm gonna leave it here as a cliffhanger. I'm gonna tell you what it is, and then I'm gonna give you just an idea maybe that you can use for what you just said. Is that what I've been working on? I've recently had 2 consults with 2 other small businesses to like just kind of like they've kind of been in business for like 3-ish years, and they don't know how to level up their small business,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the next level is of that small business. And a lot of us run into that in the first 3 years of running a brick and mortar place or any business, even if
Sure.
it's a digital space or e-commerce or whatever. And you just don't know what you don't know because you've been wearing all the hats. And you're like, I don't have anyone else to wear this hat. Therefore, the business, is constrained to my brain and what my brain knows
Mm-hmm.
how to do and what my brain's done.
Mm-hmm.
So after talking to them, and it's crazy how scared all entrepreneurs are to, again, let go of some of the responsibility, let go of some of the stuff, and see what can
Mm-hmm.
happen. So with that said, what you could do, and what I'm doing for myself, is plotting out, like, literally get a pen, whether you have the magic pen on your iPad or do it on a dry erase board or whatever, and plot out your life. Plot out your life
Mm-hmm.
since you graduated high school or maybe college, and just draw a circle. And then what did you do? Who'd you do it for? And then just keep going. And then throughout that, draw, and literally, because I'm such a visual learner, like I like doodling, draw all the products and or services that you offered to an audience or to the world, or that you offered for somebody else, whether it was your consult, your classes like the Zumba, or you were doing the speech, what is it, what am I trying to say, interpretation,
Interpreting. Mm-hmm.
interpreting, right? So all the different things that you did, and then all the products and services within it, and then the ups and the downs and the failures and successes. And then when you get to the current day, you're gonna have mapped out, the last 10, 15 plus years of all these different experiences. And what you could do, and you're kind of doing through this speaking, is you're productizing all of those services that you did in the past, which is basically your experience, your journey. You can
Mm-hmm.
productize that journey by condensing it into a course, condensing it into speeches, condensing it into a book or whatever. And that in itself, like, everybody has this experience, especially people that listen that are entrepreneurs. You have an experience of a lifetime that you've done XYZ, whether like you and I had brick and mortar businesses, or you did stuff online, or you taught classes. You taught Zumba, I did kettlebell conditioning classes. All those different things have like such depth, to failures and successes, that in its own is a product. But you're like, how do I so that's what I'm working on, is like, how do I productize? Because if I have time to pitch this to 5 businesses or 5 people and only one bites, okay, well, I spent all those hours one-on-ones with these people. But if you kind of create content that revolves around it, put it out there, and then just kind of have that as a product where they just buy it as their own course or curriculum or whatever, or a cohort that you help do with them, like, here's 2 weeks, I'm going to do it with you, or whatever, right? It's just another way to reframe your experiences. So now Marisol's 15 years of being an entrepreneur can be condensed into not just one speech, but a speech that you can replicate and essentially build once and sell twice. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I'm working on doing. And then once I figure out how to do that, like, I want to do that with you and Chingo as well, because the same thing applies. And anybody that's listening, like, think about your last 10 years of whatever, and then you're like, oh, you know what? There's so much valuable information here that this is a product. I don't know about you,
Yeah.
dude, but I love buying courses. Like people have like either a love-hate relationship with courses because they feel like if they had one bad course that they all suck. But I've had so many good courses that I've bought from digital creators and other entrepreneurs that I'm like, yeah, this is a must. You got to do this.
The ones I try not to buy or ever buy are the ones that say, I made 100 grand in my first 3 months of my business. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm not trying to buy that. I know that I know that I want to make money, but I want to be here for a long time.
Mhm.
I don't want to just like make, 100 grand the first 3 months of my life. And then I'm going to have to figure, you know what I'm saying? Like those are the ones I can never buy. I loved, I bought one that I was kind of pissed about. Etsy sells these a lot too, by the way, if you've ever looking for anything
Mhm.
like that. Like I bought a manufacturing course on there, like how you go about finding your manufacturer for things that you like to make, which crazy. I had just bought that one on Etsy, and some lady walked into the Hive the other day, and that's what she does here.
Mm.
And so she left me her phone number, she left me everything to contact her. And basically, she's like, you bring me the fabric. She's like, you tell me kind of what you're wanting. And she's like, we can make it for you. And I was like, okay. Now, with that comes, you're probably going to have US prices, which I'm probably going to pay more there than I would if I tried to go and find someone in China or, India, Peru, all these places that, make stuff for people, Spain. Spain is kind of pricey though. They're up there with like US prices too. So that's kind of where I've been going, you know what I'm saying? Like, and anyway, so I bought that course, but then I bought a course on wholesalers because there you can buy one where they tell you all the wholesalers out there. But the funny thing is like I already knew about half of the ones that they said on there. And then I guess because social media knows everything that you search or you buy, right? Because I do a lot of my stuff on my phone. All of a sudden on Instagram, I started getting companies that are wholesalers. And I'm like, oh, this was easy. So now I'm just like looking them up, and I'm just like looking up, what they offer and what they can do. And you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because here I just paid someone to give me a list of wholesalers.
Yeah.
And sadly, I already had them, but you know what I'm saying? It's not like it was so much money to where like, fuck, this was a waste of money. There was a few
Mhm.
in there that I had never heard about. Um, but yeah, I 100% agree. I like if you don't invest in yourself, meaning like in how to like do things better, like the consultations I pay Ilse, it's like, why are you paying her a consultation if she already does your social media? Yeah, because sometimes you have to sit and reevaluate your
Mhm.
business and you need someone else's perspective, or you need someone else to tell you, well, and she and I have gone back. We pretty much said the same thing again this year. She did was, well, we kind of had already discussed that you need to establish you as a brand.
Mhm.
And I have a hard time with that. Does that make sense?
I
Because
get it.
to
Yeah.
me, I want to, and I want to sell authenticity. I do not want to sell this fake thing, but also I don't like to post my vulnerabilities. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to post when, who wants to see that? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Who wants to see like when you're having a shitty day or when you're, you know what I'm saying? That's why I blog, because I think those are easier and more fun to watch. Is like, okay, well, she talked about it there. And I feel like if you really want to know what the journey is like, go look over there. You know what I'm saying? Go follow me on YouTube and I'll give it to you over there, because that's where I'm able to like expand on something versus if you post something and then people just they love to twist. What did you see what she posted? I wonder if she's going through something, what she's going, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Pete and I talked about that this morning on Cafecito time about when people just make up shit and then they just like assume, and you start filling in the blanks, like of like, well, that must have happened because of this and that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to kind of be careful.
Two things I would say on
about,
that is that, like, you got to sell one, you got to sell what's selling. You just got don't reinvent the wheel. Sell what's already selling. And then
yeah.
two, if not that, like look at where you can add value to an underserved market. So for me, I don't know why, dude. I have this fascination with small business owners. Always have, always will. Maybe because I was one and I know the pitfalls of it. And the people that I've talked to recently have the exact same pitfalls that I had in my early 20s, and they're in
Mm,
their late 20s, early 30s.
mm,
So they can't see, like, honestly, not even shooting shade because I haven't said any names, but some of them have never actually read or put together their own P&L. They don't know how to read their own profit and loss
mm,
sheet, right? They don't
mm,
understand what their services are costing. Now they want to incorporate physical goods and they don't know any of the inner workings of that. I'm like, dude, we have a long way to go here if you want to try to
mm,
figure out where your year 4, year 5 is going to be. If your first 3 years have, and I get it, you wung it. I wung it. A lot of people, everyone wings it, but at a certain point, you got to stop winging it.
mhm,
And that's
mhm,
what I want to try to fill that gap. And one of the problems with that gap is there's not a ton of money in small businesses. As it is, they're already a small business. So when you offer a service to them, even though that they will see returns on it, it's hard for them to bite on it because cash flow is low or their profitability isn't, at the best or whatever. So that's where content comes in. Like if you can create enough content to where they can trust in what you're saying, then they can just go implement it on their own and then come back to you
yeah.
and need something, and then you're kind of the demand. You're not going and searching for it. You're having people come inbound to you like, oh, okay, he said this and that actually was right, and I'm gonna go back to them versus going out and trying to find clients and people all the time.
That's like when Issa said, "Hey, I'd like to have a consult with you." I was like, "With me? Why?" I'm like, you're the one that gives me the
Yeah.
what, And so she's like, "Do you not realize like when we have conversations at photo shoots, like all the things that you say?" I'm like, "No," and
You
she's
forget
like,
them, man.
I'm having a conversation with you. Like I'm not thinking like I'm trying to give you advice." She's like, "You have so much insight. It's insane." She said, "So I don't want to say what she wants to do because she's going to announce it like in December.
Mhm.
But she's like, when you and I have conversations, I legit take that back. And I'm like, okay, I remember she said this and she said that. And, you know, and it's crazy because you take your knowledge for granted. You don't realize that you have been through a lot or you have experienced a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh yeah, I guess I could help someone out so that they don't make the same mistake I did,
Mhm. Yeah.
along the way. If I could help someone, and that's kind of me. And that's what she said. She goes, that's your whole niche. You're all about like helping and wanting to make community with women. And she's like, imagine if you did what you did for me with everyone. She's like, if you actually provided that service for people, anybody that wanted a consultation about opening their business, opening a boutique, she's like, you would have so much to tell them about. She's like all the weirdness that you went through figuring out what you wanted to do. I manufacturing was where I wanted to start until I was told how much it cost. And I'm going back again into that wanting to learn and figure it out. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I was telling Pete, I was like, I think that's really what I like. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really what I like. Because I'm somebody who buys more. I'll buy a shirt because because your fashion also changes. Now, I don't know about for males, obviously, probably not, but for women, we go through phases where you're like, you'll look at something like, oh my God, I can't believe I ever wore that. And then you're like, 5 years later, you're like, you're into something else and you're into something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's weird because I'll see stuff. I was, sitting here doing, I'm like, ew, why did I like that dress? I'm like giving them it away, putting in a bag to give to
Mhm.
Louisa. I'm like, I can't believe I ever even wanted to wear that. I'm like, ew, you know what I'm saying? You go through these phases, but
Hey, we're at an hour. Do you want to keep it rolling, keep the conversation going, and I'll cut it here
sure,
into
we'll
the
cut it
public?
here.
Yeah. So
Oh, I'm
what
just gonna
what
go.
can they do? Go to your website, sign up for your newsletter. What do you want them to do?
Yep, go to my website, guys. Sign up for my newsletter. We send one out every week. And also, don't forget if you are a business and you want to promote your business online on our newsletter. I'm sorry, you can do that. We will start offering that. And shout out to Don who takes care of that. So you can email us at herloungepodcast@gmail.com and she'll get back to you and we can discuss about giving you a little space on our newsletter to advertise your business. And also this Sunday, I will have it up on. I'm still figuring out how to work my website, Rob.
Okay.
And I know that
You can
you're
put
like,
it up
I'll
there.
do it, dude. Tell me what
Yeah.
you need me to do. I'm like, no, I need to figure this out. Like,
Sometimes the learning curve is too great. Like, just give me the thing, I'll post it, and you can move on with your day.
the link to go to this weekend's event, it's
Mhm.
almost sold out, guys. So I'll post it on, it will be on the newsletter. Dawn is sending that out. So if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, go to marisolherrera.com and enter your email, and then you'll start receiving the newsletters. So it'll be on there, and I'll also post it in my story, guys. So just try to go on there and follow along. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to hear our next episode, make sure you sign up to our Patreon, HERR Lounge Podcast. I'm sorry, Patreon /HERR Lounge Podcast. Come be a part of her world. See